Alright, hello everyone, how are you all doing today? I myself am doing rather well, ready to do another character profile video. This time I don't have too much of a reference for how he's supposed to look, but I think this character is one of my favorites to at least put through shit, kind of like Victor, but it's gonna be shit that is really gonna hurt him in the long run, as opposed to trying to get Victor to grow with the stuff that he's going to do. So, if you're new to the channel, then I do uh, character profiles and world building on my own ideas that I'm trying to raise up. The main purpose of this channel is to build an audience for these ideas. My most prominent one so far, the one I've been doing plenty of videos about, is Higher Than the Sky, which, again, if you're new, you can check out early drafts of it in my Wattpad, which I'll, of course, be linking in the description down below. Now, the character I am doing today, his name is Brea Aung. He is a sword juggler. Sword juggler, yeah. That's such an easy word. I don't know why I messed up on it so much. A sword juggler in the King's Circus. So, and you might already know if you've checked out earlier videos that the King's Circus, is essentially a traveling crime unit. I did a video last week of their wet work man, who was the invincible man, the immortal man, to be more precise. He, takes a lot of hits and stuff. So the sword juggler is obviously one of the sword fighters. Brea Aung is one of the younger members of the troupe, and certainly one of the more skilled. The main purpose in his part in the story, the main purpose of it is to be Yumi's first love interest as she's moving out through the world. He is one of the characters that gets her to decide to move on with the from village life and go out into the world. Mostly because he's supposed to be one of the better looking guys as well. He's kind of exotic, lightly toasted skin, things of that nature. And as far as personality goes, he's mostly based off of a friend I have in real life. In fact, I told him that yes, I'm gonna be putting him in the story, but he's definitely not gonna like what's gonna end up happening to this character. More than likely. So personality wise, he is more of an artsy, that type of guy, more on the liberal side, I would say. In fact, while there aren't any politics with that are any, there shouldn't be any real world politics, but there of course going to be parallels. He is going to be more free nature, more on that side. I do believe that I have Victor as more of on the conservative side. Of course, they're both my view of those sides, so it's going to be quite a challenge to really differentiate them, because they are both also supposed to be, attractive to Yume. If I can't make them attractive to people in the real world, then how are we supposed to believe that Yume can fall for either of these guys? And that will be my main goal with basically having work on the relationships one at a time, and you'll see how each differs from the other. Of course, Brea Aung and Victor never really come face to face, so there's no love triangle. You never have to worry about that. It's simply the first or the one before Victor, the ex-boyfriend or what have you, something to give Yume more experience, something that Yume can use to compare Victor with, and stuff of that nature. Now, Victor and Yume don't automatically fall in love either. It's a long process. There's very little of love at first sight between Victor and Yume. It's a growing relationship. So Brea Aung is the opposite of that. They're just like instantly gonna zing with each other, to use a phrase from Hotel Transylvania. He's definitely a strong lad, definitely hardworking. Brea Aung is upbeat and more talkative than Victor, very much the opposite of him. He is an open book. He tells it how it is, although him and Victor are both good at people watching, people observations, but for different reasons, such as it is in the environments they grew up in. But, you know, drawing enough parallels and similarities, but also accentuating the differences is where I really want to get at. Now, his looks are basically very much on the cartoony side. I imagine him with a vest similar to Aladdin, and the puffy pants, even, although the boots would be, he would be wearing boots instead of walking around shoeless, thing like that. No hat, as I think of it right now. Now, my friend's changed his style very quite a bit, so what I have in my head doesn't really match up with who he is now. But I'd still like to draw some of the conclusions. Let him see his old self in this character, some way, shape, or form, or at least my interpretation. Of course, I'm gonna make him look a little better than what he would be in actuality, and things of that nature. So, relationships. Obviously, we've went over what he's supposed to be to Yume. What he is to the king, of course, is, I would say, on the guardian type of side. He is not a father figure to Brea Aung, and Brea Aung doesn't see the king as a father figure. The king being, of course, the leader of the troop, the ringleader. Very vain type of guy. He, of course, named himself the king, and everyone just goes along with it. His sister, as well, a fellow sword juggler. They have a decent relationship. You don't find one without the other very often. Now, as I expand the character roster, and to fluff up this troop, I'll of course draw more connections right there. I do believe I want to have someone with a crush on Brea Aung, but again, I do also want to avoid the love triangle aspect. But if it's gonna be at the beginning of a story, brief type of nature, maybe I can form that differently, or maybe I could get rid of it quickly. Just have it there real quick, just to make the troop feel more alive, to have all these pre-existing relationships before the arrival of Yume. Now, as far as I can think of, I've went over his part in the story, some of his personality traits, but of course I'm trying to be as vague as possible to save something for when people actually get to read it. Yeah, I think I'm good. That about does it for this video. Once again, if you enjoy my content, if you want to see more videos like this on a weekly basis, go ahead and hit the like button, possibly even subscribe so you can learn more about the world of Higher Than the Sky and various other ones. I may start running out of ideas for Higher Than the Sky pretty soon, so I will transition into exploring some of my other ideas, that's for sure. Yeah, so subscribe, hit the like. If you have any ideas on how I can improve my content, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section down below. Those are very helpful, especially when people ask me questions, because sometimes there's things I never thought about that when someone asks it, what would be the natural way to answer that question, or in the sense of the story, what would be make it believable within the story to make it work, and things of that nature. Oof. So that about does it for this video. Thank you for checking it out, and I hope you guys have a great weekend and take care.